Okay, hello everyone. We're going to start with the session 1 for Introduction to SPSS. In this session, we'll be talking about how we can access SPSS and use SPSS to analyze some of their interesting and very basic function. All right, what you need for this session, you need to have SPSS access via Queen's virtual desktop. You will also need to have a GSS 2016 file from my courses. The outline of this presentation today include how do you start SPSS, and we need to recognize how to do the analyze from the SPSS interface, and how do we work with the existing SPSS file, and how do we import data into a new SPSS file. First of all, we're going to talk about how you start SPSS. In order to start SPSS, you need to have the virtual access to SPSS. So first of all, you go to My Courses. I'm sure most of you guys will be on that website. And click on our course. Go to week 1. Scroll down until you see part 3. In the first link, this will take you to Queen's My Desktop. So just click this link. It will take you to this page, and you can enter Queen's username. Log in. You will see the Student General Use button, so click this button. And you'll see the welcome page taking you to the virtual desktop. Once you are in, you should be seeing this desktop. It's like you're sitting at Queen's on campus, and if you go to any computer lab, once you log in, you should see this page. So this should look familiar to you. Okay, so in the left lower corner, you may see IBM SPSS Stats 25. If you don't see it, you can hit the start. And under this list, just go to IBM. So start with the letter I, IBM SPSS Stats. You see IBM SPSS Stats 25, click this one. And you should see the notes saying that SPSS Stats is trying to opening. Well, at a certain point, you will be seeing this page pumping up, showing SPSS trying to open, and then this window shows you welcome to SPSS. It has 2 windows. The first one asking you if you want to have a new data set. The other window says the history of recent files you have opened. Okay. So if you need to have a new data set, you click this one. If you want to open some files you've already opened before, just choose anything from this window. All right, we're going to use this later. Okay, so that's how you start IBM SPSS from the virtual desktop. Next, we're going to talk about an SPSS interface. Its interface includes 2 big tabs. One is called Variable View, one is called Data View. So if we look at the current SPSS page, you notice that there's Data View here, and there's Variable View here. You can change between these 2 views. In the Data View, you have variable listed, so you see different variables with their data values being listed. In the Variable View, it tells you the information about the variables, including their name, their type, their label, and their values. Okay, so first of all, we're going to work with existing data file. Okay, the data file we'll be using today will be the GSS 2016, as we mentioned before. So what we need to do here is we need to go to the desktop again. All right, I need to actually go to the virtual desktop. So over here, you see desktop. I can click on Microsoft Edge, or if you prefer, you can use the Chrome from your desktop. Let's type mycourses.queens.edu. Log in. Okay, and it asks you to have the signing information. Enter password. Sign in. Okay, go to our course again, just as if you are at Queen's in the computer lab. So click week 1. Under SPSS introduction, you see this file gss2016.sav. So just simply click this one. It will be downloading. So what do you want to do with GSS 2016? If you're using Microsoft Edge, you just click save, or you can just say open. Okay. If I do save, I'll just do save, and then I can just open it. So it will be opening in SPSS again. So over here, this is the GSS 2016 files. If you take a look at its data view, you can see it has a bunch of 1, 0, 2, all kinds of different numbers. Okay, if you scroll down, it has many rows. It actually has 2,867. So meaning each variable has 2,867 data points. Now let's take a look at its variable view. Okay, so variable view, we will pay attention to the variable name and then pay attention to the type, label, and values. We're going to start with some of the easy ones, such as MAR1. The first row, if you look at MAR1, it's hard for you to tell what exactly this variable is. So we can read its labels. Okay. This label says it's the marital status of first person. And then if you click the value, okay, hit on the value, you see the 3 dots. Click the 3 dots. It tells you 0 is inapplicable. 1 means married. 2 means widowed. 3 divorced. 4 separated. 5, 6, and 8 and 9. 8 is don't know. So this talks about this variable very briefly. If you double click this row, it will take you back to the column for MAR1. So the first person's marriage status, you can tell 1411. Remember, 1 represents a specific marital status, and 4 represents a specific marital status. So that's how you look at this one variable. Let's look at another one. Suppose I can scroll down. Suppose I'm looking at say 96. So row 96, you see CESD1, that's the variable name. Now, if you read the variable label, it tells you this variable means how much time feel depressed in past week. So how much time did this respondent feel depressed in the past week? Okay, if you double click this row, oopsie, my bad. Double click this row, it will take you to this column CESD1. Its value includes 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, and those ones. So each label represents a specific value. So let's look at its value. Go to value column, 3 dots. 1 represents none or almost none of the time. 2 represents some of the time the respondent felt depressed. 3, most of the times the respondent felt depressed. And 4, all or almost all of the time feel depressed. Okay, so that's how you check a specific variable and its basic information. Now, we can construct frequency distributions by looking at a specific variable. For example, the CESD1, how much time felt depressed in past week. I go back to CESD1, and then I can go analyze, and later on we'll show you how to do that. Okay. For the frequency distribution. All right, keep going. Now, assuming we don't have an existing data set. Suppose we want to work with a new data set. We need to manually enter those data points. How do we do that? So let's take this example 1 for illustration. A survey asked respondents the number of smart devices their family has. Below is a sample of response. 3, 5, 8, 2, 3, 0, 4, 9, 2, 1. So 3 represents this family has 3 smart devices. 8 means this particular family has 8 smart devices. 0 means there's no smart device in this specific family. Okay, so we can enter these data points into an empty SPSS sheet as a new data set. So what we need to do here is, all right, go back to this SPSS. Let's suppose we're going to do File, and we're going to do a new data set. So click File, hit New, Data. All right, so this is a total blank sheet. Okay, blank sheet, and we need to enter the smart device. Okay, first of all, we need to enter our variable. So let's call this as smart device. All right, be careful that in the name you cannot enter space. SPSS will not take space. Okay, so you should do underscore to connect two different words. So smart device, and we need to enter some information on the labels. Okay, so this is number of smart devices the family has. Okay. For the decimals, we can adjust this later, and this would be using numbers as its value, so numeric. Okay. Once you have finished this doing in the variable view, we can go back to the data view, and you'll see that you have a first variable showing smart device, and then we can enter our data points. Okay, the data points are 3, 5, 8, 2, 3. I'm going to enter those. First is 3, 5, 8, 2, 3. Okay, and keep going. We have 0, 4, 9, 2, 1. 0, 4, 9, 2, 1. You guys may have noticed that every time you enter, it comes up as 3.00, 5.00. These two double zeros are not necessary, so we can adjust the decimal points back into the variable view. In the variable view, let's change the decimals to down to 0. Okay, and then if you go back to the data view, there is no longer any decimals. We only have 3, 5, 8, 2, 3, 0, 4, 9, 2, 1. So this finishes your data set. You can save this data set. So you can do File, save this as some data set. Okay. Pick a folder. You can also save it on desktop. Okay. Or under your documents. Okay, so under documents, you can say, let me create a new folder for SPSS data. And this is the smart device. Okay. And by default, it saves as .sav. Let's save. So in the future, in case you need to retrieve this data set, you can go back to the smart device.sav. All right, so that's how we create this data set. Next, let's construct a frequency distribution table. So frequency distribution table is pretty easy. What we need to do is once you've got the smart device, okay, we just need to do analyze and hit descriptive stats, choose frequencies. As of now, we only have one variable, so that's the only one we can pick. So choose the number of smart device, move it to the right. This is the variables we'll be working on. You can just check, make sure display frequency tables are checked, hit OK. Okay, once you got this, we have an output sheet coming up. This is the output tab. It has two tables. The first one tells you there are 10 valid data points. And on top, it also shows this is about number of smart devices the family has. In a second, we see a table, so-called frequency distribution table. In this table, it lists the possible numbers that can occur, like 0, 5. How many times this has occurred? Well, 0 has only appeared once, so frequency would be 1. 2 appeared twice, so 2. 3 appeared twice, so that's 2. In total, if you add them up, you get 10, right? Because we have 10 data points. The next column shows the percentage of each data points. So for 5, it's 10% of the data points. All right, so these will be the output tab. In your homework assignments, you will need to copy and paste these tables into your Word file. So let me show you what we can do here. This can also be done from this virtual desktop. Okay. First of all, let's go ahead and open a Word file. Suppose we're doing that in Word. So click Microsoft Word, Office 2016, Word, and Word 2016. Yeah, Word 2016. Alrighty, and then we can just go to the Output tab. In the Output tab, we can choose the table you want to import or copy. So single click this one, left click, and right click, copy as. You can say copy as image. And then go back to the document, right click, paste this image. All right. Then this table will be pasted, and you can do you can talk about some information about this table. Okay. So this will be something you will need to do for your homework assignments. All right, over next, we're going to talk about how do you work with new data set. Suppose I want to create a new data set like what we have done here, smart device. We've already created one. But suppose also I want to import some of the existing variables from the giant GSS 2016 file. Let's do one example. Let's suppose we're importing the variable happy from GSS 2016. So what we need to do is, first of all, locate our GSS 2016. So here's GSS 2016. We need to, first of all, find happy. So go to variable view. So happy should be in the column of names. Well, you can manually look for happy, or you can do search, find it. So let's do Control F. That will give you the find column, and you can type happy. Find next. There we go. We find a happy, this variable. This variable means it's a general happiness with the values 1, very happy, 2 is pretty happy, 3, not too happy. Okay, let's highlight this row and double click this row to take it back to the original data set. So here is happy. Okay, it has a bunch of data points again. Next, what we need to do is we want to import this happy into the new data file here. Okay, so what we can do here is highlight this happy column with the original data points, right click, copy with variable labels. Okay, copy with variable labels. And then go to the file you want to paste it into. Suppose I want to paste it into the smart device. So go to this new file and click an empty cell, empty column, and right click, say paste. Once you paste it, you should see the happy on top of it, naming its name is happy. Let's check to see if this appears in the variable view. In the variable view, we have happy as well, including this label. So that means we're doing good. Okay, next, let's construct a frequency distribution for this variable happy. So go analyze this group of stats, frequencies. This time we're analyzing general happiness. So move the number of smart device back into these pool of variables and choose general happiness. Move it to the right. Display frequency table is checked. Hit OK. And you should see something new opening up in your output tab. All right, so there are 2,859 valid data points, 8 missing. Out of these 2,867, we have 806 people reported very happy. 1,601 reported pretty happy. 452 reported not too happy. So this would be the frequency distribution table. All right, same thing. Let's right-click, copy as image, and you can go to your document, and we can paste it here. Okay, so paste option, you can paste it as a picture. So paste as a picture. Now, sometimes your picture might be too big, and you can adjust by shrinking, making it bigger or smaller. For the previous one, you can also adjust its size. So that's how you copy and paste your output tables into your Word file when you are supposed to be answering questions. All right, so that's the first session for SPSS. We've talked about how do you access SPSS from the virtual desktop. This is all done through your virtual desktop. And we've talked about how do you open SPSS. How do we create a new SPSS file? We created a new file called Smart Device. In case there is any change, you need to save the change. You can save it. And we also talk about how do you copy and paste the output into a new Word file for answers. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.